All right, Marty, thank you very much. It is time for Wealth Wednesday with our friend and wealth advisor, Jarrett Felton. Today, we are talking about the importance of estate planning to protect our loved ones. Good morning to you, and killer jacket this morning. I love that blazer.
Good morning to you. Every day's a holiday, and
yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Very subtle, I know.
No, listen, that's summertime blazer. Perfect. I told you I need one for, my trips to the Cape. I love it.
Absolutely.
Let's start with the basics for people. When we talk about estate planning, what are we talking about?
Sure. And oftentimes the conversation and topic could be daunting. But what I want people to remember is that it doesn't have to be scary. There's a lot of aspects that it would include, but the four primary things that are talked about most often are a will, living will, healthcare proxy, and last but not least, power of attorney.
We talk about a will a lot of times, and people have those conversations, and we don't necessarily think about it perhaps even when we're younger or even, as we age. It's something you don't necessarily want to think about, but it's one of those things that you really should prepare for, not just for yourself, but for your family.
Absolutely. A lot of times when this topic gets brought up, a lot of people say they don't want to talk about, they don't talk about death.
Yeah.
And in all fairness to the conversation, if we isolate it, put it in a silo, it's a very selfless act to make sure that we are responsible, intentional, and strategic about what happens to what we've amassed during our life, for the sake of the loved ones that we so much enjoy spending time with while we're here.
Yeah.
So it is a selfless act, but in my personal opinion, it could be considered somewhat selfish if it's not done and irresponsible, because it could tear families apart in the event that you do pass away or become disabled.
Yeah.
It's not always about just death if you get disabled.
Yeah, you don't want to see a family torn apart, and there's also the potential that money you've earned doesn't end up with your family too, which could be an issue.
Absolutely. A lot of times in the court system, depending on what state you're in, we're in the state of New York, county of Monroe, and good old Rochester. The system is set up so in the event if you don't have a specific designation of where your assets are going to go in the event of your passing, the state will be glad to tell you where it's going to go. And for that, there will be fees involved. Everything would go to probate if you pass away without a will.
Yeah.
You need to also consult with an attorney, right? I'm not a practicing attorney, but on the wealth piece or on the wealth side, it's very important to understand how it works on the surface.
Yeah.
And the attorneys will bring it all whole to make sure you have all the documents together.
It speaks to the importance of doing all of this. Where should people start with this conversation in terms of a wealth advisor like yourself? Where would the conversation start in terms of planning for your estate?
Sure. I think most importantly, what people need to do is just pause and freeze for a second. This world right now is moving 1,000,000 miles an hour, and sometimes we as humans are moving twice as fast.
Yeah.
I think the first step is just take a step back, freeze, be still. If you don't know what to do, just be still. That's what my mother always used to say.
Yeah.
Right? Second, I would say take a look and evaluate what is it that you have amassed. Write it down on paper. It could be on a napkin for all I care. But, what you want to do at that point is figure out if you got something that you own that you've written down, you may want to enlist the help of an attorney to figure out specifically, what can you put a beneficiary on, what can you not put a beneficiary on. Things like homes, cars, investment accounts, brokerage accounts, retirement plans, life insurance, the list goes on and on. But the legal professional can help you right-size it, package it up, and put it on paper such that in the event something happens to you, it can go to the right person. So I say stop, freeze, be still.
Yeah.
It used to be stop, drop, and roll for a fire.
Yes.
But you know what? There could be a fire if you don't do such a thing on the estate planning side.
When you kind of run down the list of all those things, it can seem daunting to people, which I think is why it's so helpful to be proactive about this, right? Because if you're not proactive, that long list of items then falls on your family in what it may be a situation where they're just trying to mourn.
Yeah. And once again, my mother, I talk about her a lot, but she's, the last thing that you want to do is make decisions in haste, or make them really fast, and also during times when you're going through something emotionally.
Yeah.
And nowadays, as we know, it's a popular saying, all up in your feels. A lot of people are in their feelings.
Yeah.
So when you lose someone, you're going to go through grief, and everyone grieves differently. The last thing you want to do is have to think through or critically think through how you would have, how the person who passed away would have wanted their assets to be actually doled out to people in the event that they passed away without any sort of proper documentation.
Yeah, that's why being proactive and planning ahead can make all the difference.
100%.
Jarrett, I know we're going to continue this conversation next month with more specifics, but if people want more information on you, where can they go?
Yeah, website, invessent, investment.com. Jarrett Felton, founder and CEO.
Always a pleasure having you in. I'm going to talk to you afterwards and see if we're the same size, because I might just borrow that jacket.
Possibly, I need the matching shorts.
Yes,
I
right?
need the matching shorts.
I might still have those somewhere tucked away. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us.